Good morning, everyone. Good morning. To all of you here in the sanctuary of the Metro East Unitarian Universalist congregation, and greetings to those watching this remotely and from the future, we welcome you all. This is a welcoming religious community, and we're so glad to have you here. I'm Jamie Riedessel, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm delighted to welcome you all here today. So good to see you all here, whether new friends or people just looking to check this out for the first time. We're glad to see you and welcome you to talk to us over coffee, which is what Unitarians do. Thank you. Today's speaker is Natasha Walker, who is here with us from the UU Advocacy Network of Illinois, and is here courtesy of our social justice team. If you're interested in joining our social justice team, please get in contact with Dee Evans, who would like more people to work with. It'd be nice. Thank you very much. And to start off with, our prelude. An important ritual in the Unitarian Universalist practice is the lighting of our chalice. Unitarian Universalists have many different interpretations of the flaming chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. If you're watching elsewhere and have a chalice or candle, please light it now, and join in saying unison words projected on the screen. We light this chalice in memory of the courage of those who have struggled for freedom, the persistence of those who struggle for justice, and the love of those who built our beloved communities to carry on the light of hope. No words today. That's fine. All right, and now we invite you to all take a moment to greet someone new or someone you haven't talked to in a minute. And just make a new connection, talk over coffee, or agree to talk later. Or maybe talk to Dee about social justice. She'd like some help. Thank you very much. Our first song will be in the Teal Songbook, so if you need some help, feel free to go back and grab one of those. From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of the living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Beautiful, Joy.
That gets the blood going. It is a tradition here at the Metro East UU congregation to place each service within the framework of the Unitarian Universalists at all. Today we're upholding the values of interdependence and justice. Our reading today, suggested by our speaker, comes from Dr. Martin Luther King's 1967 speech at the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He was speaking to a room full of Christian leaders, but what he says about power speaks directly to what we're talking about today. Now, a lot of us preachers and all of us have our moral convictions and concerns, and so often have problems with power. There's nothing wrong with power if power is used correctly. You see, what happened is that some of our philosophers got off base. And one of the great problems of history is that the concepts of love and power have usually been contrasted as opposites, polar opposites, so that love is identified with the resignation of power, and power with the denial of love. It was this misinterpretation that caused Nietzsche, who was a philosopher of the will to power, to reject the Christian concept of love. It was this same misinterpretation which induced Christian theologians to reject the Nietzschean philosophy of the will to power in the name of Christian love. Now, we got to get this right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, And justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. And this is what we must see as we move on. So, justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. With that in mind, it's time for our Joys and Sorrows ritual. As part of our weekly worship service, we take time for the expression of joys, concerns, and sorrows. Home for us means a place where we can share our things that weigh down our souls or fill us with joy, because we need joy right now. And where those we love surround us in good times and in turmoil. If you would like to recognize a joy or sorrow or milestone we invite you to come forward and place a stone or several stones into the water bowl to represent your joys and sorrows. There are stones here at the front. I invite you to come forward down the aisle to my left, or across the front and down that way, and then return down the aisle to my right. If you're not able to navigate this for any reason, please raise your hand and someone will carry your joy or sorrow for you, for we are a generous people. Let us be in a spirit of prayer and meditation. Today's story for all ages is They Call Me Teach by noted author Lessa Klein Ransom. This author and her illustrator husband have a series of books covering many topics in Black history and figures as well. This is the story of an enslaved man called Teach, some of his life and how he resists the implacable repression of enslavement. This serves as a lesson that there are many ways to resist oppression besides running. For those of you who wish to watch Young at Heart, please join me up here for story time. As a note, this one is written in a period-appropriate dialect, which I'll be attempting. Yep. Vinny's having a moment. Okay. Before she passed, before freedom was even in the air, Mama told me, use that learning and make something of yourself. Every day is a chance to do just that. They call me Teach. Ain't my given name, but it's the only name folks around here know. It's a secret name, just between us. I learnt reading and writing coming up alongside Master's son Thomas. What he read, I read. Numbers he figured, I figured. Got so I could just about outread and outfigure Thomas down near every time. Now that Thomas is off at school, Master set me clerking here in town, in his store. It helps that I know numbers and letters, near as good as any man, colored or white, for your slave. Monday. They run fast like mice through a cornfield, sneak in the back one by one, squeezed in the corner stall of the stable where only the horses and the mules can see us. 5 or so little ones. I give each a slate I keep hidden under a bale of hay. We're steady working our way through the alphabet, with one torn speller I kept from my days with Thomas. What sound this one make, Teach? They ask, eyes bright. Crouched low, I teach in whispers with hushed letters and the soft scrape of stick against slate. A speller, in case you hadn't heard of this, is an 1800s tool used for teaching reading and writing. And that one, the dictionary makers have put out a list of words, easy to hard, and you would get definitions and slowly work through them letter by letter, which is not how we teach spelling today, but it's how they did in the past. So this guy had a book on his head, under his hat. Tuesday. On a delivery in Master William's house, cook opens the door to a kitchen hotter in August. She sets my package on the table, then pulls me in, takes a piece of paper from her apron, crumpled and damp with sweat. Read this, Teach, she says with her eyes. I smooth down the edges. Letter from the missus? I ask. She nods. What's it say? I point to the first letter. See this letter here? I start. Cook leans in and points to the next. Slow, we sound the words together. North, and Yankee, and soldiers. Pots bubble the fire, and letter by letter we read. Cook says every scrap of the words Mrs. throws away. Wednesday. The moon lights the way. When I start under the dark of night, darker still as I make my way through the woods. Down past the creek, men from the fields wait on the stumps, bone weary but waiting still. We keep the lantern low. Don't have much time, Teach. In the dirt I write out letters, whisper their sounds. With each snap of a branch, crack of a stick, we stop and listen, then scratch and write, straining to see the letters in the dirt under the moonlit sky. Thursday. When I arrive at the post office, I pick up Master's mail. And the big room is filled with talk and white folks' news that quiets when I'm near. I slip Master's things into my sack and walk outside through the alley behind the building. Only then do I look at the letters and parcels, open up the newspaper. I read and remember for later, to share, to spread, the folks I see. Long the road at night in the woods to leave them with newspaper words of the war, of President Lincoln, of freedom heading south, and so led by soldiers in blue. As I turn pages, I hear footsteps behind, then hot breath, sour with anger. Hey, what you reading there, boy? A white man from the post office spits. Just looking at the pictures is all. Your master know you're reading this paper? I took my head low. Words fall from my hands. Friday. Master's mad. He said law don't allow slaves to read, except on account of helping at the store. No deliveries today, just cleaning and sweeping. I feel his eyes burning a hole through me all day. He says he'll send me back to fields with lashes on my back if he catches me reading outside the store, except for what he tells me. I say no, sir, and yes, sir, but be thinking he won't catch me again. When the last light's out and the store is locked, I creep along the road to the quarter of the cabins with the speller hid under my hat. Book on his head. Saturday, busiest day of the week. Fetching orders, wrapping packages, barely time to catch my breath. When I go up front to load up the wagon, I feel a hand on my arm. Need your help, Teach. Woman, young and scared, standing beside me. Need a pass for tonight. We move out of sight, off the road. Pass need to say, my master gives me permission to travel alone to another plantation. She says she needs time. She don't say the word run. She don't say the word escape. Wait here, I say, and finish loading the wagon. Back inside the store, I write up receipts for master's deliveries, for master's orders. In between, I write up a receipt for her freedom. Sunday. Lord's Day, a time for rest from secrets from master before the work starts again. The boat is waiting to take me across the swamp. Folk gather dressed in their finest. Morning, Teach. They nod and wave in a log cabin with planks for benches. Sunday school's about to start. Teacher steps aside. Hands me a Bible, worn and cracked. I read about the children of Israel. Folks shout, Amen, Teach. How the God told the Pharaoh, let my people go. I take out my stick. I write out those words on the slate. Preacher holds up high for everyone to see. I point out the letters, then the sounds. The congregation echoes back every word, every letter. I read, Hallelujah, Teach. They call out. When Sunday school over, songs right out of whispers. Tell all pharaohs to let my people go. Fills the air with the sounds of freedom. We have a few hymns like that in our songbook. This book actually has a sizable author's note in the back, but I want to read one specific paragraph. So often, slave resistance narratives focus on those who escaped north to freedom. But for most, escape was a rare, if not impossible, feat. Among the enslaved, resistance took on many forms: disruption of work, sabotage, sharing of information. Resistance was also music, storytelling, and learning to read and write. What we saw here was a man sharing knowledge, so people can hear and see what is around them, and the intelligence being kept from them as an act of resistance. Our next hymn is number 1024 in the Teal hymnal, When the Spirit Says Do.
Friends, loved ones, seekers all, welcome. It is an honor and a true privilege to stand before you today, both as a fellow Unitarian Universalist and as the new Executive Director of the Unitarian Universalist Advocacy Network of Illinois. I want to start by acknowledging the air in this room and the air in our country. It is heavy. We come to this sanctuary carrying the news from Minneapolis, the heart-wrenching murder of yet another protector, another protester standing in the gap for justice. When we see a life extinguished in the very act of resistance, it is natural for our spirits to feel a profound weariness. It is natural to ask, how long? How many of us have experienced that deep, quiet pull, the internal voice that tells us that something is deeply right or profoundly wrong? We Unitarian Universalists know this voice well. We call it conscience, but in moments of tragedy, that voice can feel like a cry in the wilderness. Our tradition is not built on mandatory dogma, but on the brave moral imperative to live out the convictions of that inner voice. And this month, our theme of practicing resistance. Note that word, practice. Resistance is not a one-time event. It is a muscle that we build, a discipline we hone, and a covenant we keep when the world feels most heavy. We are gathered to celebrate the vital connection between personal conscience and collective action, because a lone conscience, however powerful, cannot dismantle systemic injustice. For that, we need a network of conscience, a coordinated, strategic movement powered by love. The indigenous tribes of the Amazon have a popular fable that teaches about the web of life. A butterfly flapping its wings in the jungle stirs the wind that creates many more small wind currents that divide and multiply and ultimately manifest into a hurricane on the other side of the world a few days later. The teaching is that all is connected. Our daily actions are inextricably braided into everything else. The protester in Minneapolis, the voter in East St. Louis, the advocate in Springfield, we are those butterfly wings. But resistance requires more than just flapping our wings in the dark. It requires a system that turns that wind into the hurricane of change. This is where the Unitarian Universalist Advocacy Network of Illinois, or UUANI, comes in. For many of us, social justice means the incredible work we do right here, the food drive, the local vigil, the community partnership. That local energy is the engine of our faith. But UUANI is the transmission that connects the local engine to the state-level power structure. In this climate of new levels of cruelty, resistance means creating a shield of care across Illinois. We connect our 34 Illinois congregations so that when a bill on reproductive rights or immigrant safety comes up, we speak with a coordinated moral authority. We translate our principles into policy, ensuring that our resistance extends beyond the sanctuary walls and into the halls of government. We transform a single cry of grief into a spiritual chorus that politicians cannot ignore. I have been called to this work to bring the mind to match our collective heart. My background isn't typical for a nonprofit leader. I spent 2 decades at global organizations like Google and Disney, mastering strategy and efficiency. I know how to design elegant solutions so that every ounce of your passion and every dollar donated has maximum impact. But I also come to this role as a Black woman, an 80s latchkey kid, and a single mother. I understand that for many of us, resistance isn't a choice. It is a requirement for survival. I embody the strength described by Maya Angelou. Amidst the storm, God gave us rainbows. That resilience is what I bring to our collective work. I'm here to ensure that our intense moral passion is matched by fierce strategic competence. Because when we are organized, our resistance becomes irresistible. Friends, our commitment to social justice is not a political hobby. It is a spiritual discipline. It is an imperative deeply rooted in our faith tradition. The great movements of history were not born only from good policy. They were born from the aching conscience of individuals who could no longer stand silent. As Unitarian Universalists, we are not called to be comfortable. We are called to be covenanted. We cannot afford the privilege of delay. We cannot afford the luxury of despair. When we see the tragedy in Minneapolis, our resistance is to refuse to turn away. Our resistance is to double down on our strategy, to tighten our connections, and to show up in Springfield with even more resolve. The old ones say that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, but that we borrow it from our children. This means our justice work is an act of spiritual stewardship. We are building the Illinois Shield so that the children of tomorrow do not have to carry the same heaviness we carry today. My promise to you is to bring my whole self, my strategy, my empathy, my resilience to this mission. And my call to you is to bring your whole self. Together, we are not merely fighting against injustice. We are actively and deliberately building the beloved community, a place where love wins and justice rolls down like waters. May it be so. Amen and Ashe.
Our final hymn is number 1024. We know this one, Blue Boat Home. 1064, I should say. There you go. Different key. Far below I feel Sun, my sail, and moon and rudder, as I ply the starry seas, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the light of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the ways upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite seas before me, sting the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Excellent. As Robin passes around the offering basket, not me this time, I offer the gentle reminder that this community of faith is supported only by your giving of time or treasure. Stewardship is more than just financial donations. We need your time too. If you can't write a check, please help our church survive and thrive, offering time to help make coffee, bring snacks, serve as an usher, help set up, help break down, talk to Dee about social justice, just a thing. And please donate all you can with your time and talent. All are needed for our church to prosper. And if you give cash, please use those envelopes you have in there so we know who you are and can give you credit when it comes time to figure out who can vote, because we have a meeting in a couple of weeks. However, if this is your first time, you're not obligated to give, as we want this to be a gift to you. If you're willing to donate your time, please talk to a board member or some of the other older members. We can hook you up. Believe me, we can do that. So please join me in our offering prayer. May this offering equip us to inspire love and seek justice. All right. Upcoming speakers. Next week, we have Dr. Nicole Davis will be up here with us. And yay! Thank you for coming. And after that is Eden, which is going to be our semi-annual congregational meeting and also potluck. So we're going to be here for a long time with food. It'll be great. We're also going to be at that meeting. We'll be seeing an agenda later today. We'll be seeing topics about our new bylaws. We've had a chance to revitalize and refresh them, considering our new circumstance, and to fix a few bugs we found. We'll also be discussing about church committees, as well as a few other topics that will be in the agenda. Also, this week we are setting up, we have to break down everything again this week. So yeah, we had to set it all up and we got to set it all back. Please help with that. And next week we set up with no breakdown, and yay. And then for our annual meeting, we don't have to break down afterwards. Victory Arms. Also, back there by the name tag easel, there is a card for Phil, a Get Well card. Please sign it. He's having some troubles. We'd like to wish him well. And I believe that's it for announcements today. It's pretty light, all things considered. So, join me in extinguishing our chalice. Light of truth and meaning cannot be put out. We are the keepers of this flame until we meet again. Any call to actions? All right. We have no closing words today, so thank you for being here and listening to our appeal together. Our postlude is recorded. Thank you. There will be a meeting with Natasha and Dee later after this session, after we have some coffee. So if you want to hear more about UUANI's mission, stick around. Thank you.
Please stick around.
Shoo.